Picture this: a storage unit in Southern California, monthly rent, paid faithfully for 30 years. Inside, the rarest Shelby ever built. And when Carroll Shelby himself showed up at the door to buy it back, the owner wouldn't even open the screen door to talk to him. That car is on this list, and every single story here is a specific, documented, real barn find. Not a rumor, not a legend, but a car with a name, a location, and a price tag that changed someone's life. Before we start, hit subscribe, because this is where the greatest American automotive stories come back from the dead. You're going to want every episode. Let's go. Number 10. 1956 Ford Thunderbird. Apopka, Florida. Walled up inside a house since 1978. Someone bought this 1956 Thunderbird, drove it for a while, and then, along with 7 other cars, sealed it inside a house. For decades, the car spent years buried under dumpster loads of clothing before it was finally dug out and listed for $17,000 on Craigslist. It was found wearing a sunset coral pink repaint over its original raven black factory finish, one of only 15,631 Thunderbirds built in 1956, the last full year of the original 2-seat model before Ford killed it. The first generation never came back. 2 facts that stopped the room. The 1956 Thunderbird was Ford's answer to the Corvette, and during the 3-year run of the 2-seat T-Bird, Ford sold 53,000 examples compared to fewer than 10,000 Corvettes in the same 1955 to 1957 period. And that final 1957 model with the F-code supercharged 312 V8 produced 300 horsepower, the most powerful car Ford had publicly offered at that time. A car walled up inside a house with 7 companions for over 40 years. When the clothing came off and the sunset coral paint appeared, someone had a very good day. The next car didn't sit because of a cluttered house. It sat because of a dented nose cone, a spring break trip, and an 18-year-old who never quite got around to the body shop. Number 9. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Glenwood, Alabama, stored over 4 decades after a fender bender in 1974. A judge in Alabama bought it new for his wife. She didn't want it. He sold it in 1974 to an 18-year-old who promptly took it to spring break in Panama City, painted flames on it, and then dented the nose cone on the way home. His solution: park it. That was 1974. When Charlie Lyons pulled it out of that Alabama carport decades later, moss was growing on the rear wing, the dent was still there, and the odometer read 20,533 miles. One of 503 Charger Daytonas ever built. Numbers matching 440 Magnum V8, the car that Buddy Baker drove to 200 miles per hour at Talladega. It sold for $99,000 at Mecum Kissimmee on January 15, 2016. Dinged nose, faded paint, moss, and all. A dent that never got fixed became a 4-decade time capsule. The next car sat for 47 years and still had 11,000 original miles on the clock. But the engine was gone, and that changed everything. Number 8. 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. Stored for 47 years. Discovered in candy apple red with 11,000 original miles. In 2020, a candy apple red 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429 surfaced after 47 years in storage. Just 11,000 original miles. Original interior, all documentation present and accounted for. The catch: the drivetrain was long gone. Engine and transmission missing. Only 859 Boss 429 Mustangs were built in 1969. The 429 cubic inch engine was a street version of Ford's NASCAR semi-hemispherical V8. Hand-built and officially rated at 375 horsepower. Unofficially and widely acknowledged, it produced over 500. To fit it in the Mustang, Carcraft Engineering in Brighton, Michigan had to relocate the front suspension, reconfigure the shock towers, and essentially rebuild the front end entirely. The find made national automotive news. A Boss 429 with original everything intact, minus the one thing that defines a Boss 429. The hunt for a correct matching engine was going to cost as much as the car, but at 47 years in storage, with those numbers intact, it was still worth the effort. The next car's driver said something about it that became one of the most quoted lines in the history of American muscle car barn finds. Number 7. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, Van Nuys, California. Single owner for 57 years, original build sheet in hand. Phil bought his 1969 Camaro Z28 new from a Van Nuys Chevrolet dealer. He owned it for 57 years. He spray-painted parts of the engine bay himself. He replaced the stolen transmission with the correct M21 type. He added gauges. And, through all of it, he kept every piece of original documentation. Original sales contract, original owner's manual, original Protecto plate. The DZ engine stamping under the hood matched the Protecto plate. The trim tag confirmed Hugger orange paint, black vinyl top, standard interior. A 4th week of January 1969, build date from the Van Nuys plant. When the Backyard Barn Finds YouTube channel came to inspect it, Phil told them, "I would sell my wife before I would sell my car." He eventually did sell the car. The 57-year relationship, intact broadcast sheet, and original paperwork made it one of the most compelling single-owner Z28 stories ever documented. The next car was found alongside 2 others, 3 of them. Same garage, same owner, same moment of discovery. It shouldn't have been possible. Number 6. 3 1969 Camaro Z28s in one garage. In Aurora, Illinois, Parker Bluebaugh of the Backyard Barn Finds YouTube channel visited a facility owned by Tim, the proprietor of Mr. Wonderful Motorsports. What he found was not one Z28, not 2, 3 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28s in one location. All 3 were project shells. All 3 had their body VIN plates, trim tags, and paperwork intact. None had their original drivetrains, but the X77 designation confirmed them as genuine Z28 builds. All 3 were available for purchase as projects. A numbers matching 1969 Z28 in Concours condition commands over $150,000 at Mecum, with documented examples reaching $297,000. Finding one is an event. Finding 3 simultaneously in Aurora, Illinois, was something that moved beyond coincidence and into the kind of story people tell for decades. Before we get to number 5, hit subscribe, because number 5 is the most American barn find story ever told, a car that Carroll Shelby couldn't buy back. It's next, and you are not going to want to miss it. Number 5. 1964 Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupe CSX 2287. 6 Shelby Cobra Daytona Coupes were ever built. 5 had been found. The 6th, CSX 2287, the original prototype, the only one built entirely by Peter Brock and his crew in Venice, California, had vanished. Phil Spector bought it, drove it through Los Angeles collecting speeding tickets. His lawyer told him to sell it. He sold it to his bodyguard, George Brand, for $1,000. Brand gave it to his daughter, Donna O'Hara, and Donna O'Hara put it in a storage unit and disappeared from the Shelby world entirely. Carroll Shelby went to her door to buy it back. She wouldn't even open her screen door to talk to him. It was widely known she had it, but it was also widely known that you couldn't communicate with her. People had given up going for it. From 1971 to 2001, 30 years, monthly rent, paid every month. The car sat. After O'Hara's death in October 2000, a legal battle over the storage unit eventually allowed Dr. Frederick Simeone to purchase CSX 2287 for approximately $4 million. It now sits in the Simeone Foundation Automotive Museum in Philadelphia, the only Daytona coupe in original, unrestored condition, still wearing the marks of its racing career. Still the most dramatic storage unit story in automotive history. The next find wasn't one car, it was 500 of them, one man, multiple barns, rural Nebraska. And not one of his neighbors had any idea. Number 4, the Nebraska Mopar collection. One man accumulated over 500 classic cars across decades of quiet, obsessive collecting. He stored them across multiple barns on a single rural Nebraska property. Rare Plymouth Hemi-Cutis, Dodge Challengers, Roadrunners, Chargers, the full spectrum of the Mopar muscle era, stacked and stored and left to whatever the Nebraska climate had to offer. His neighbors had no idea. When the estate was auctioned, the results exceeded $2.3 million. the cumulative value of 5 decades of one man's collecting compressed into a single auction event. The most significant individual pieces, documented Hemi cars with matching numbers, drove the upper range. The collection is now dispersed across America, each car carrying its own story from those Nebraska barns, and proving that the greatest collections don't always announce themselves. The next car sat in a garage for 53 years. The owner worked on it for decades. He died before he finished, and the car went with his estate in nearly the same condition as the day it was parked. Number 3. 1967 Chevrolet Corvette 427 L71 Tri-Power. Bought in 1967, sold to a second owner in 1969, parked in a garage the same year with plans to restore it. That restoration never happened. The owner worked on the car for decades. He died before he could put it back on the road. It was sold with his estate, 2 years of use, 53 years in a garage. Original Lindale blue paint visible under a thin layer of primer. The L71 427 Tri-Power, rated at 435 horsepower, still under the hood. One of only 3,754 L71 Corvettes built in 1967. Original 4-speed manual. Interior in remarkable condition from 5 decades of being untouched. When it hit eBay, 49 bids arrived, and the standing offer reached $51,400 before the auction clock even hit its final 48 hours. The man who never finished the job left behind a time capsule that the entire collector community wanted. The next story involves a pair of cars that were too radical for the public when new, and are now worth small fortunes. Number 2. Pair of 1970 Plymouth Superbirds. Only 1,920 Plymouth Superbirds were built for 1970. Plymouth had to build one for every 2 dealerships to satisfy NASCAR's homologation requirement, and ended up building far more cars than anyone wanted. Dealers removed the wings and nose cones just to move the inventory. The car was simply too radical for the American mainstream of 1970. 2 of them spent the next 35 years in dry storage. A B5 blue example with white bucket seats, an Alpine white example with black interior, and a console automatic. Both matching numbers, both original wings, both original nose cones, intact, unmolested, exactly as they left the factory. The owner of the blue car had purchased it at the Owl's Head Transportation Museum in Maine. At that auction, he was approached by someone who had 2 more Superbirds in storage. He bought them both. In 2018, the pair appeared on eBay and sold for over $100,000 each. The cars nobody wanted in 1970. The cars everybody wants now. And now, number 1. A factory race car that got parked because of a baby. Owned by the same man for 45 years. And it's one of only 17 like it on Earth. Number 1. 1969 Chevrolet Corvette L88. Kevin bought this 1969 Corvette L88 in 1971 at the age of 18. The original owner's wife had told her husband to get rid of it because flames were coming out of the hood on startup, covering the windshield and terrifying their newborn baby. Kevin stepped in and paid up. He drove it, he drag raced it, and then life happened. The car was parked in his garage in pieces sometime in the 1970s and stayed there for over 45 years. Only 116 being built by Chevrolet for the 69 model year, and this one is even rarer. One of only 17 ever fitted with the M20 Hydra-Matic automatic transmission. Kevin spent those decades becoming one of the foremost L88 experts in the country, accumulating original internal documents obtained from former Chevrolet employees, visiting Zora Arkus Duntov himself, and building a documentation file that helped the NCRS make historical corrections. 2 facts that define what this car represents. The Chevy has since been parked in their garage, and unlike the L88 clone stored next to it, it will get a rotisserie restoration to original specifications. It will also be repainted in its original green color, so we're most likely looking at a future Concours d'Elegance winner. And when Horsepower Depot purchased it in 2023, a channel that builds and drag races L88 replicas, they immediately recognized what made this one different from everything else in their shop. It's the real thing. One of 17 like it on Earth. Outside, a Fathom green C3 Stingray body sitting in pieces, covered in decades of garage dust. Inside, a cockpit that hasn't moved under its own power since the Nixon administration. Under the hood, the L88 427 cubic inch big block V8. Official rating, 430 horsepower. Actual output, well over 500. No radio, no heater. 12.5 to 1 compression ratio requiring 103 octane racing fuel. A factory race car that a baby's terror put on the market in 1971, and that sat in a garage for 45 years while its second owner quietly became the world's foremost expert on the car he owned. The restoration is underway. When it's done, it goes to concours. That's precisely the kind of news I want to hear about a barn-found L88. Nowadays, a 1969 Corvette L88, one of 116 ever built, is valued between $1,650,000 and $3,850,000, depending on documentation and condition. Kevin's car, as one of 17 with the automatic transmission and with its extraordinary documentation file, sits at the upper end of that range. A baby's fright in 1971, 45 years in pieces, and the #1 American barn find on this list. Every car on this list was forgotten, stored, walled up, left behind. A dented nose cone, a baby's fright, an unfinished restoration, a woman who wouldn't open her door, 500 cars in Nebraska barns that nobody knew existed, and every single one came back. That's the American barn find story. It never ends. Somewhere right now in a garage in Alabama, a shed in Nebraska, a storage unit in California, there's something extraordinary waiting, covered in dust, with its original paint still underneath. If you're a cars enthusiast, subscribe and hit the bell. We find these stories every week, and the next one is already on its way. I'll see you in the next video.